Hey everybody, Mandy here, and in today's video we'll be going over some of the new details about the new Danganronpa game, Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp. In case you did not know, but a new Danganronpa game got announced on June the 15th at Nintendo's E3 Direct. It showed that the main 3 games are coming out for Nintendo Switch, with a standalone game called Danganronpa S coming to the Switch as well. It's not a mainline game, but it's actually a spin-off. The release date hasn't been officially announced, but they did say that it was coming later this year. In the trailer, they legit call it a brand new standalone game. There was also a lot of theories people were having, saying that it was secretly a new killing game, but want to advertise it all happy and stuff. However, I don't think that is the case, as in Japan, the game is called Happy Danganronpa S. So unless they change the game title, all the characters are going to have their summer vacation. Before we get into the details, please consider liking the video as it helps me out quite a lot, and also subscribe to the channel for more Danganronpa videos and news, as I'll be making update videos when more news comes out about Danganronpa S. Oh, and also tell me in the comments what you think of the game, as I would love to see what everybody thinks of this. I personally am very excited for the game, and I honestly can't wait to play it more in the future. By the way, the new game is a expanded version of that board game thing in Danganronpa V3, so just so we're all on the same track, if you don't know what that is, it's just a game board where it's like Mario Party, you go around the board as these different characters and you can interact with people. But in this spin-off game, it looks to be way bigger and ambitious than whatever that game mode was supposed to be. But now that we're all on the same track, I want to start the video out by talking about the new art and the new sprites, as those two subjects seem to be the most popular topics in the community at the moment. When it comes to new art, so far we currently have 4 different CGs and 3 different pieces of splash art. When it comes to CGs, we have this one of Nagito waking you up, but instead he is wearing his summer outfit. We have this one of the beach scene from Danganronpa 2, but it's been replaced with different characters in their summer outfits. We have this one of Tenko, Sakura, Akane, Kokichi, and Kibo fighting Monokuma. And lastly, we have this festival one showing Rantaro, Sayaka, Kotoko, Mikon, Ryoma, Gonta, and the Monokubs. All these look great, and considering that this is a full standalone game, I expect to see a lot more CGs, especially ones involving many characters together like this. One theory I have is that they will remake some of the old CGs, but with characters in their summer outfits instead, as we've already seen that happen with 2 CGs here, one obviously being the Kameda one, and the other one being this one. I can already imagine some of the older CGs we have that could potentially be remade for this game. The fighting one doesn't really have any hints or speculation, apart from Tenko looking beautiful as always. But when it comes to the last one, which is the festival one, it reminded me a lot of this image of the Danganronpa 2 cast at a festival. It was a part of a calendar for the Danganronpa 3 anime, which included many images like this. And if they are basing some of the CGs off of this, I can make a guess and say that we will see a snowboarding CG, a Halloween CG, and a Christmas CG. I hope they do this because seeing all these like seasonal CGs would be really fun. When it comes to the splash art, so far we have 3 pieces. We have the one on the box art, which includes Kaede looking perfect as always, on top of other characters in the background. I'm not sure why Hifumi looks like the mastermind here, it's kind of funny. The other splash art we have is of Suichi, Kirigiri, and Kameda together. I don't think there's any hints or speculations that can be just made of this. I think it's just a really nice looking piece of art. And the last one we have is this image of the Danganronpa S main menu screen, which was just shown off today. As you can see, this also helps us look at what potentially could be Kokichi, Kamaru, Togami, Junko, and Chiaki's summer outfit for this game. Something I've noticed too is that, okay, this could just be a Monokuma beach ball, and it's most likely what that is. But if this is hinting that Ball Monokuma is a playable character, and that's not a joke by the way, I'm actually being serious, like imagine if we had Ball Monokuma as a character, and this would kind of make sense because we have Ultra Despairgo as characters now. It's very, very, very unlikely, but I can hope. Either way, that has been all the art that has been shown, but now let's move on to sprites. So as many of you already know, it seems that every character has a new summer sprite, and we already have seen what many characters' summer sprites look like. I'll be listing off all the characters' summer sprites that we know of or have seen so far. We have Makoto, we have this image of Celeste and Sonia, we have this screenshot of Hiyoko, Himiko, and Mahiru, and finally we have this screenshot of Leon and Rantaro. We can also see a slight preview for Taka and Mondo's summer sprites, but I feel like it's way too hard to make out what they look like, so I'm not going to count them. Those are all of the summer sprites that we have seen so far, and now I'll list what characters' summer outfits we have seen, but we haven't seen the sprites of them just yet. We have Kameda, Kamaru, Kokichi, Togami, Junko, Chiaki, and this screenshot which shows Mukuro, Kirigiri, Aoi, Maki, Kaito, Ibuki, Kazuichi, and Toko's summer outfits. But we also see Monami in the back here, and I don't think that's just for laughs. I think that this is Monami's summer sprite. If you don't already know, in the original game, you could play as everybody in the cast of the 3 mainline games, but there was also some extra characters that you could get. Those extra characters were Monokuma, Monami, Usami, and Izu Kamakura. If it's safe to assume that these are going to be all these characters' summer outfits without seeing their sprites, then I think this logically would also apply to Monami here, which also means that we would have a summer sprite for Monokuma, Usami, and Izuru. Either way, those are all the sprites or outfits that we have seen so far, which leaves 31 characters that we have yet to see their summer outfits. By the way, that number is not including the Ultra Despair Girls cast because we have no idea which characters are returning. We already know that Kamaru is, and we have seen screenshots that show Hiroko, Kotoko, and Kirakuma as playable characters, meaning that the Warriors of Hope alongside Kirakuma, Shirakuma, and Hiroko will return. But does this mean that characters like Tai or Yuta will come back too? What about Servant Kameda? Will they treat him as another playable character, or would they just keep one Kameda? These are questions that have not been answered and we can't really get an answer for until more details come later date, but all we can do is speculate in due time. That pretty much covers all the new art and sprites that we know of. When it comes to the board itself though, you may have noticed that the board shown off in the trailers is actually the Danganronpa 2 map, Jabberwock Island. We have the farm on the right here, in the top left you can see the supermarket, the bottom right is the airport, and you can just about see the hotel area in the top right. So far we've only seen this one map in the game, but in the original there were actually 4 maps that you could play on. So my theory is that each game seen at the top here, Danganronpa 1, Danganronpa 2, Ultra Despair Girls, and V3 will all get their own levels based on their games. Danganronpa 1 would be Hope's Peak Academy, Ultra Despair Girls would be Toa City, and V3 would be the Academy for Gifted Juveniles. This may be considered a stretch, but I can see this being a high possibility if they're only going to focus on these 4 games for its own spin-off. But that just leaves me with one question. Would they do a Danganronpa 3 anime board? In the original game, there was a secret unlockable board that you could interact with the characters from the anime. It was only the pixel art or the pixel form and there were no sprites made of these characters, but it was a really cool thing to see in an actual game. And it just makes me think, would they do this again, or would they just completely cut it from the game? My guess is that they won't add the anime characters this time and they'll just be cutting them. I would honestly love if the anime characters did return since we basically rarely see them, but I'm just gonna have high hopes for now. From Nintendo's Hong Kong site we see some extra details that were not seen in the original trailer, and in my opinion it's quite big. Now if you played the original board game mode, you would know that it's just a giant loop and you have to get past this loop within a time frame, but as you can see here, there is no loop and you will just have a starting position on the board and there's a mission at the bottom. I'm sure these missions will change over time, plus in the original you could only play the board for around 9 to 10 turns, but here it says that there's 30 days left, which makes me believe that this board game mode is actually tied with school mode in every Danganronpa game, where you was able to hang out with other characters and level up their report cards. We even see the same stars used on the report cards next to the characters on the selection screen. I'm not sure why else this would be here. We also see a rest option here, which is, again, another thing that you can do in school mode. So based on what I'm seeing here, I think that this board game is actually going to tie into the RPG mode and the school mode together into one big fusion mess thing. I would also like to speculate that the way Jabberwock Island opens up is with this Kameda CG, where he will wake you up like the intro of Danganronpa 2, and maybe teach the player how to play the game. I'm not sure how that would work if you also pick Kameda as a playable character, but I have a feeling that could happen. Oh yeah, and also the Monokubs return as the host, since they look like they do in this festival image. And I'm pretty sure I've gone through most of the details, if not all of them. There are some other small stuff that I could have mentioned, but I don't think it's too important, and there's a lot of stuff we just don't know as of yet, so it's one of those things where even if I did tell you, we just wouldn't know anything, so I think it's best to assume that we just wait for more details to arrive and then we can do more speculating. And either way, I do appreciate y'all for watching this video. It means a lot to me. Hopefully some of the things I predicted will come true, and I will be uploading more often. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!